Hi, and welcome back to Now TV. This is a bit of a chunk of reading to do, so I won't waste any time. I'm going to pick up where Jonathan Kent is at the graveyard of young Jesse in Kent, and the visit's just beginning. So now, here, without further ado, is the next part. Jonathan says, "Well, I hope you're right about this, Jesse. That sure is a long way you made me have to come to take these pictures and record videos of my time visiting with you, talking to you, and filling you in on my life and all the time I've been gone. I hope I can take this stuff home to my wife and son and hope they can understand and respect my decision and what I chose to do, keeping you and our relationship and time of life apart from them. But I know I sure do like being able to take these pictures and videos home just for myself, knowing you are now with me all the time and in everything I do and everywhere I go. And I only have to pull out my phone to look at you, at your name and headstone and the writing on it, and the flowers I lay here every day that I come to visit during my stay here, and play videos back and just sit or lie back and listen to our conversations with each other. If only I could have done this years ago. If only this option and opportunity could have presented itself so many decades ago. I can only imagine the difference that would have made for all of us, you, me, my wife, and my son. But you know how the saying goes. You know what they say, right, Jesse? Better late than never." So Jonathan took pictures and spent the day and the next couple of the following days adding flowers to the grave and decorating it with a bit of artistic landscaping touch, or so at least he hoped it was, and would look to others, and recording important parts of his story and updating Jesse on everything he was decades behind on telling her. And after 5 days, he was finally done talking and told her that it was her turn to share with him what she had to say, what her thoughts on it all were. And he took a sleeping bag he had with him and laid it across her grave, got in it, put the travel pillow he had with him under his head, and began to do some deep breathing and meditate and fall into a peaceful, calm state and sleep to which he hoped would invite her voice and mind and thoughts and feelings and pictures of her young, sweet face into his heart, mind and soul, hopefully render the closing message from her that she needed him there to share, so he could return home knowing he had fulfilled the mission and quest of his being asked to come and visit her now after all this time. This was the first thing he could feel was wrong from her, that she was indeed hurt and upset that he had left her grave barren and empty of visits from him, and all those years of flowers and cards and gifts he never came to lay and deliver for her. Something she needed and missed, like many who lay so peacefully in cemeteries, who long for the time and attention from those they love and who love them. It is so much harder to do as life goes on. It becomes a much harder and most difficult task to keep finding the time to visit and lay those cards and flowers down. As the living grow older and gain strength to move on with their lives, especially when the strength and growth you bear causes you to live on another continent with oceans of water between the two sides and the two different worlds and lives both sides or all parties are in. The rest of what he needed to hear her tell him, that he needed to be there with her to hear, did come through, it did work. He woke from his peaceful slumber and stayed of quiet mind and meditation with the rest of her message and the answers he was there to receive, all resting upon his heart, and the words to go with those feelings so clearly etched into his mind. He took he looked at the time and did realize indeed that he had slept the night out laying over her grave with her. Interesting, he thought. Maybe that was it. Maybe that was the final key, the final missing piece to the puzzle of what it was she needed from him and with him to find that peace between them for all the years he had spent gone, leaving the top of her grave and headstone empty from his gifts and visits with her, that she needed him to sleep it off with her, stay the night out there, and in that way let her know how sorry he was, but that he did indeed still love her and miss her, and that she does matter and will always matter to him. But he knew that also he needed her to understand that life back when he used to come every year would never return, that his life had gone on, that he had grown up and found a life and family, a new place and way of living for himself that would just make visiting her every year impossible now, at this late of the game and day and age of his life. That she will just have to settle for random visits when he can find the time to travel that far throughout the remaining time of his life. Boy, little did he know why she had him sleep out there in the sleeping bag with her. Whoa, wow, the presence of her energy. So he got up off the ground and packed away all his things and said, "Well, Jesse, this was a very good visit. I'm glad I listened to your call and didn't waste a moment's time and came to visit you right away. And in these 5 days together, I think we've done well to clear the air with each other. And I have a lot to take home with me now that I can share with my current family and the current life I live. And that will be enough to appease to you and your soul and a final sense of understanding and forgiveness for never bringing them here to meet you and for you to meet them and everyone in my life who is important to me, who matters most to me, who will be settled and finally find my terms of amendments with all of you in the best way I know how and can will be enough for all of you. Now I have to return to that life that I've built for myself on a farm in Kansas in a small country town far, far away from here, Jesse. But I promise you, Jesse, I will return. And I will make sure that it's more often than the decades I've just spent away. I won't do that ever again. Thank you for calling me here so we could spend this time together working all things out. Please be at peace now, even when I'm away. Because if you are, I will feel that, and that will help me. That will help me make it be okay for me too. Amen. He prayed one last little prayer of thoughts to the same God he believed in at the beginning of this trip on the plane here for a safe flight, which he got. That all will be well and as it should be from here on in for her and for him as he returns to normal life with Martha and Clark and when he finally finds a way to show and share with them too, and that it will be enough for them as well. His final words as he began leaving Jesse's grave once more and his trek back to Smallville were simple and to the point as they've always been when he said them from the start. I hate cancer. Rest in peace, Jesse. Amen. End scene. So that's it, you guys. That's the end of that part of the Jesse's grave. Time not mentioned. But mind you, the whole movie is a time not mentioned. That's what makes it a whole movie. The Secret Double Life of Jonathan Kent. It's a masterpiece. Our next section is very exciting. You don't want to miss that. So tune in for the next part because that's introducing new characters. And we're going all the way back to childhood. The story that happened in the newspaper and the clippings and the stuff that he finds in his adoption box. And I don't think I mentioned anything in the story around this time about the cell phone, but eventually they'll get there too. Anyways, that's my thing. Thank you for watching on TV. There is now 8 more pages to go to the first draw line of how far I'm willing to record and share with people the story. I'm really thoroughly pleased and excited and happy to be reading through this. I'm just so elated and satisfied. It's such a good story. I did such a good job that I'm loving this. Like I'm reading it for the first time, like I'm one of you. So, me and my flower are going to sign off here now. When I get a bigger place and I have a little more money to have a little more success, I'll have a better background, like a beautiful library of books of my own. Everybody does the library, right? We all do books, but I suppose that's who we are as people in nature. That's our business, so books are our thing. So it's kind of fitting. But thank you for watching Now TV. I'm having fun sharing this with you, and I hope you guys are having fun listening and really, really would like to be a part of this even more. And I look forward to your emails at thesmallvillemovie@gmail.com to set yourself up for that part of the fun. Peace out.